Well, hey everybody, I've got two pedals to show you today and Abby meowing in the background. Um, both these are for sale. I'm going to explain what they are, play some tones for you. I've got a mic down here in front of my cabinet and I've got another one behind the camera over there, just kind of up in the sky, so I can mix these together and try to get a good representation of the room sound. Don't mind my cat. She's probably going to run away as soon as I start playing. She's like, I don't like that, but I'm not going to leave. Anyhow, so I'm going to explain the first one here and do some tones for you, and then we'll move on to the second one. So this first one here I call the Tantric Trap. It is called that because, in all fairness, it is a rat and a Karma Suture, also kind of like a harmonic percolator type thing. This particular one is PCB based. I used the best components I could. Got a really nice powder coated enclosure for it. So I originally developed this with for my buddy Brendan in the band Stony Doom. He plays either one step down, so D standard, or he plays a drop A baritone, and he likes to use fuzz. He likes a lot of, distortion and stuff. But the problem is when you play one of those really low tuned guitars into a fuzz, is it just becomes mud and a wall of noise that doesn't make any sense. So I tried a few different things in the one that he has, and what I ended up with in that pedal, the Karma Suture was actually made by my buddy Nathan Hanna, and the other one was a rat PCB that I put together. I really like that pedal, and I wanted to create another one. So in this one, I've built everything that's in it. Like I said, it's still PCB based, but it's pretty cool. I love the fact that you can have either effect or you can have both effects. It just gives you a lot of tonal options. And what's cool about these is, yeah, he uses them for really heavy music, but honestly, if he wanted to, you could use it for pretty much anything. Get funky, play some blues, do whatever. So I'm going to show you the rat side, and then we'll go to the Karma Suture side, and then we'll do both of them together. I don't have riffs prepared. I don't have backing track. I'm literally just going to show you what it sounds like, and put this together, because I'd rather these be in the hands of some players than sitting here on my shelf waiting to be in the hands of players. Just got my Strat here playing into my JMF Spectra. This is a tube amp. AT2020s are getting the audio, except for my voice. I've got this cheap TikTok microphone. Just clean tones to start with. So here's the rat side. So there's a little bit of what the rat can do. And this is the Karma Sutra side. The thing that I really love about this one is because he plays with that low down tuning and because a fuzz can get really muddy, there are multiple ways you can adjust the settings on this to dial out a lot of that muddy bass and keep it to where you've got a good fuzz sound, but it's not overly bass heavy and just turning everything into mud. It has a density control, which is essentially like a low cut. It has pre and post gain, and then it has a diodes that allows you to essentially dial how much of that signal is being clipped. And I'll just kind of give you some general tones to try to give you an idea. As always, there's a million things that you could possibly do, and I'm not going to try to show them all. But I'll switch some pickups here and there, which you'll see me do. And yeah. So you see, you can get super heavy stonery sounds. You can get those cool psychedelic, late 60s, 70s fuzz sounds out of it. I didn't even show you really all of what that can do. I'm just trying to give you an idea of the sounds. So now I'm going to stay in drop tuning and show you both. Sorry. So anyway, that's that pedal. Super cool. A lot you can do with it. You know, you can decide how much of that distortion is hitting, how much of the fuzz is hitting. This pedal is actually counterintuitive to the way that it looks. Your signal actually comes in and goes to the Karma Suture, and then it goes to the rat. Originally, I don't know how well you guys can see it in the camera, but you see there's a light in the center that's just always on. Originally, I had planned on putting an order switcher in this so you could change which one was going into the other one. And it sounded horrible the other way. It barely worked. It fed back. It was just not good. So I put an LED there that's just on all the time. So anyway, yeah, super cool pedal. Can do a lot of stuff. So now I'm going to show you last week sometime. Might have been beginning of last week, might have been the week before. I was at a place here in town, a thrift shop here in town, and found a Chris branded SWR meter, standing wave ratio. CB guys use it, mostly ham radio guys use it, and you connect your transmitter and your antenna to this, and it measures your reflected power and your forward power, so that you can tune the antenna to the frequency that you're going to be using it on, so it's most efficient. Anyway, it was $4, and I thought I could build a fuzz in that. Now, originally, it had a meter on the top of it, and I wanted to use that. However, the original was an ammeter, which is useless for guitar signal stuff. So I ended up buying a voltmeter, but it went to 5 volts, and the signal was just barely making the needle move. And there are ways to sort of amplify that signal using an op amp or a transistor that essentially takes the guitar signal and brings the voltage up even more. I just didn't have room inside of this enclosure for that. It was tight in there as it is. So I took the meter off, I built a cool panel and riveted it in place, and that's now the level control. This is just a single one knob silicone fuzz. It's got a thin fat switch. This is an interesting pedal because every amplifier that I plug it into, it seems to do different things. When you have it in the thin mode in this amplifier, when this amplifier is on clean, it almost acts like more of a treble boost. But when you've got it in the fat switch area, it's a lot more thick and fuzz-like. But again, it's been different in different amps that I've used it in, but it's really cool either way. So I'm actually going to start out in fat mode. I already have the volume pretty much set because I was doing it. Excuse me for burping so much and now smacking the microphone. I just ate lunch. So, again, clean tone. trying to show you a little bit there how much you can clean it up with the volume knob, just like an old fuzz face or any of those things. So that's pretty cool. So now to the thin side. So there you go. That's 2 pedals I have available right now. I will have more parts for the other fuzz that I made. I'm not showing it in this video because I want to wait till I get more parts before I post them up, because if more than one person wants one, that's going to be a problem. So anyway, just some cool tones, the Tantric Trap, and the I call it the Bogen fuzz. I've put it in a few pedals. Anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'd love to get these in your hands. They're cool pedals and they need to be out in the world. That's it. Later.